Aloha, everybody. I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Oral Reports. Now, if you may recall during my Zootopia blog, I did mention that Duke Weaselton was selling animal versions of classic Disney films, including 3 that have yet to have a theatrical release. However, just a few days ago, one of those 3 upcoming Disney films just got a theatrical release, and I believe it's the first time John Musker and Ron Clements got to make a CGI Disney film. But you may be asking, does it hold a candle to their past works like The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and Princess and the Frog, etc.? Well, let's find out. Released on November 23rd, 2016, the movie is Moana. So, let's begin. An adventurous teenager sets out on a daring mission to save her people. During her journey, Moana meets the once mighty demigod, Maui, who guides her in her quest to become a master wayfinder. Together, they sail across the open ocean on an action-packed voyage, encountering enormous monsters and impossible odds. Along the way, Moana fulfills the ancient quest of her ancestors and discovers the one thing she always sought, her own identity. So, what are my thoughts on this movie? Well, to be honest, this movie was absolutely amazing. But to understand why I love this movie, let's set sail to Mustang Notes. After directing The Princess and the Frog, Clements and Musker started working on an adaptation of Terry Pratchett's Mort, but problems with acquiring the necessary film rights prevented them from continuing with that project. So, to avoid a recurrence of that issue, they pitched 3 new ideas, and in 2011, they started developing Moana based upon an original idea. Originally, the film was going to focus on Moana rescuing her father, who had been lost at sea. The story changed drastically during the development, which happens with most Disney films, and the original idea ultimately survived only as a subtle element of the father's backstory. In 2012, Clements and Musker went on research trips to Fiji, Samoa, and Tahiti to meet the people of the South Pacific and learn about their culture. Over the 5 years it took to develop and produce the film, they recruited experts from across the South Pacific to form an oceanic story trust, who consulted on the film's cultural accuracy and sensitivity as its story evolved through 9 different versions. So, you guys are probably asking, why is Moana Clements and Musker's first fully computer-animated film? Well, one of the reasons for using computer animation was that the environment, including the ocean, benefited much more from the use of CGI as opposed to traditionally animated. The filmmakers have also suggested that 3-dimensional computer animation is well suited to the beautiful sculpturing of the faces of the people of the South Pacific. In early development, the film was going to be made in hand-drawn animation, but only a few animation tests were made in the final cut. However, only Maui's tattoos are hand-drawn. As with most Disney and Pixar animation films, several major story problems were identified in 2015. Only after the film had transitioned from development into production, but only computer-generated films tend to, well, have much more shorter production schedules and much larger animation teams than traditionally animated films. Since Clements and Musker were already working 12-hour days directing such a large team of animators, Hall and Williams, who had just finished directing Big Hero 6, came on board as co-directors to help fix the film's story issues. Now, in my opinion, the CGI animation is absolutely flawless. It looks so realistic. In a way, it feels like you're actually there. You can almost feel like you're sailing on the ocean, or like you're on a tropical island. Some of my favorite scenes in this movie are when Moana interacts with the ocean, and the scene in which Maui and Moana encounter the Kakamora, who are a band of little coconut pirates. While that scene is action-packed and pretty funny, it makes an awesome international homage to Mad Max Fury Road. Now, since this is a Disney princess film, it also means it's a musical. And, in my opinion, the songs in this movie are really great. Mostly there are times when the music breaks into a Polynesian chant. However, some of my favorite songs in this movie are An Innocent Warrior, Where You Are, We Know the Way, the Song of the Ancestors song, and of course, Know Who You Are. Anyway, now that we're done with Mustang notes, animation, and songs, let's move on to the characters and the actors who brought them to life. Our main heroine, Moana, is voiced by new voice actress Auli'i. Moana is the daughter of the village chief. At that point in time, the design of Moana's face and personality was already complete, and Cravalho's obvious physical resemblance to her character was simply a coincidence. During the animation production, Disney animators were able to integrate some of Cravalho's mannerisms into Moana's behavior as depicted on screen. And, in my opinion, Moana is a brave, intelligent, and strong-willed girl. And she's determined to save her people from destruction and reinvigorate their Wayfinder culture. Plus, she almost reminds me of Princess Lonnie from Sophia the First. Also, for this being her first voice role, Auli'i does marvelous, and she's a really wonderful singer, especially when she sings How Far I'll Go. Next we have Maui, the legendary demigod voiced by Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, who's been in films like San Andreas, Journey to the Mysterious Island, and Race to Witch Mountain. In my opinion, Maui is a badass character, and he's way different than the Hawaiian god of time with the same name. What I like about him, despite the fact that he can be boastful and arrogant, is that he's adventurous, daring, sneaky at times, and really funny. I especially like his tattoo sidekick, and his song called You're Welcome, which is sung when Moana first meets him. What's more, he had quite a sad backstory, and he's also the reason why the Voyager stopped sailing, due to the fact that he stole the heart of Tootie. I also like the scene where Maui teaches Moana how to sail, tie knots, and navigate the oceans. Moana's grandmother, Grandma Tala, is voiced by Rachel House. Like Moana, Tala shares a passion for the ocean and adventures. During Moana's childhood, she's been telling stories about Maui and Taka. My favorite scene that Tala is involved with is when she shows Moana a hidden grotto where Voyager boats have been stored. However, it was sad when she had to die and become a manta ray spirit. Moana's father, Chief Tootie, is voiced by Temuera Morrison. who got to be Jango Fett in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. The only thing I can say about him is that he's a no-nonsense leader, and he's overprotective of his family, believing that the world beyond the reef is very dangerous. Next we come to Tamatoa, a giant villainous coconut crab from the realm of monsters, voiced by Jemaine Clement. Wow! Jemaine Clement hasn't ceased to amaze me this year. First, he's the evil flesh lump eater giant in the BFG, and now he's a scavenger crab in this movie. Man! Anyway, Tamatoa may not be the main villain of the movie, but he's very eccentric and insane. Somehow he managed to come across Maui's magical fish hook and claim it for himself. Plus, Tamatoa likes to talk about himself in song. And that song is actually called Shiny. In my opinion, it feels like the kind of song you'd hear from David Bowie or Tim Curry. And trust me, it's a better villain song than Pretty Bird from Rio. Next we have Moana's pet rooster, Hey Hey, whose voice is provided by Disney's good luck charm, Alan Tudyk. This rooster is described by Ron Clements as the dumbest character in the history of Disney animation. That I can agree with, due to the fact that Hey Hey has a clueless looking face and he eats rocks. But he was still pretty funny though. Now let's move on to the non-speaking characters in the movie, starting with the ocean. I like the fact that it has a personality of its own, and the way it moves its wave-like face reminds me of the magic carpet from Aladdin. Plus, I like the scene in the beginning where the ocean gives Moana the heart of Te Fiti and sails her back to her island. I especially love the scenes where it splashes Maui and helps Moana back on her boat. Next we come to the island goddess, Te Fiti. She has the power to create life, but after her heart had been stolen by the demigod Maui, she became Taka, a demon made of fire and magma. As Taka, she looks to slowly plunge the world into darkness and eradicate humanity as punishment for Maui's insolence. In my opinion, in both her forms, she reminds me of the Spring Sprite and the Firebird from Fantasia 2000. Plus, she's beautiful as Te Fiti, but as Taka, she's scary, but cool and awesome at the same time. Another character I need to mention is Moana's pig, Pua. While he's not in most of the movie, in my opinion, he's really adorable, smart, and very loyal. I especially love his playful puppy personality. Anyway, it's time to move on to my final words. Overall, Moana is another great film to come from the House of Mouse. The animation is amazing, the characters from Moana and Maui are memorable, and the songs are just wonderful to listen to. Also, in my eyes, Moana makes a great addition to the Disney Princess franchise, and Auli'i should be proud to have this movie as her first voice acting role ever. I give this film a full 100%, and a big 2 thumbs up to John Musker and Ron Clements for making this movie possible. Walt Disney should be proud of them. Anyway, that's it for today, everybody. Be sure to join me in December for my 2016 holiday marathon. Mustang Power!